Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, Executive Editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with fabulous concert programs, number 27. This is Roussel Symphony Cycle, number 3. So, of course, we're dealing with the third symphonies, and the third symphony, pardon me. Now, like the previous program, this is a 4-piece program, and I think it's really, well, I like all of these programs, but I kind of have a particular fancy for this one, and you'll see why in a second. Now, the first half is a traditional first half program, overture-like piece and concerto. So the overture-like piece is Liszt's Mazeppa. I'm a sucker for Mazeppa. First of all, it's a great story. He's a Cossack and he gets hauled behind his horse to die, and he doesn't. So he survives, and then he comes back and kills everyone. What's not to love? It's not overly long, and it's exciting. It's just really exciting music. The tunes are, not as trashy as Liszt often is, and the orchestration is quite effective, and it starts with a bang. It doesn't get played enough. It just doesn't. People don't play it, and, they do late preludes. And I just think late preludes is like, pretentious twaddle, whereas Mazeppa is really fun, programmatic, exciting, red meat. And I like the red meat. I want to start off with something that's like really satisfyingly virile and impulsive. And that's because the Roussel Third is like that. It's also a red meat symphony. And I just, think that that's kind of appropriate, but not everything can be red meat. We can't have nothing but blood and guts and viscera everywhere. We just can't. And so for the second piece on the program, I chose the Saint-Saens Second Piano Concerto. Oh, God, I love the Saint-Saens piano concertos. They're not performed enough these days anymore. Everyone sort of looks down on them and poo-poos them, poo, like that. Ridiculous. They're masterpieces. And the second is just glorious. That scherzo in the middle. Oh, what a great tune. Da 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 da. It's just wonderful. And it has a lightness about it, which contrasts quite wonderfully with Mazeppa. Although it also has a red meat finale. It's sort of a tarantella. Oh, it's just wonderful. It's wonderful. The whole piece is just, doesn't get played enough. Does not. The trouble with the Saint-Saens piano concerti, everyone looks down on them because they're unconventionally structured. They're original. They're just as original as the Liszt tone poems, formally. This one, for example, it has an opening big cadenza, and then a sort of rhapsodic first movement, then a scherzo, and then a fast finale. There's no real slow movement at all. And it's not in sonata form, like in a way that matters. It's just what it is. And you enjoy it for that reason. But the second half of the program, after the glorious intermission, is very much about classical forms. 2 of them, in fact, and I start with one of my very favorite lesser-known Haydn symphonies, because no one does the damn things, and it's time we started doing more of them. Symphony number 80 in D minor. It's hilariously funny. It's one of the funniest things Haydn ever wrote. And I did a whole talk about it. It's about, Haydn's debt to C.P.E. Bach. Not to C.P.E. Bach, I'm sorry, to Gluck. He also had C.P.E. Bach, but Haydn's debt to Gluck. You can look up the video if you want. It's very, very interesting. But this is one of these faux Sturm und Drang pieces. It's full of angst, and it has this cute little barrel organ tune that keeps getting in the way of the first movement. And the finale is extremely rhythmic and syncopated and full of energy and gusto. The whole piece is like that. It's just a wonderful piece. And it's over in about 20 minutes. So it's short and compact and brilliant, and it makes the perfect introduction to Roussel's Third Symphony, which is about the same length. It's only about 25 minutes long. It's late Roussel, mature Roussel, very compact. I've played this symphony. It's incredible fun to play. It really is. It has one of the most beautiful and powerful slow movements in the entire repertoire. A really brooding and moving thing with a huge climax with an enormous one of these suckers on it, Yeah. It's just terrific. It's a masterpiece, an amazing masterpiece. It was written for the 50th anniversary of the Boston Symphony in about 1929, somewhere in there. And it's got great tunes, fabulous tunes. The scherzo, yum ba da da pa 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 da da da, yum ba da da pa da da pa pa pa, yum pa 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 da da pa pa pa. Oh, it's just great. You'll be humming it, you'll be whistling it. It has a motto theme at the climax of the first movement, da da bom ba bom, which goes through all the movements, and that's how the whole thing ends. And it's just great, and it works so well after the Haydn, because both composers, well, Haydn was a classical composer. Roussel became a classical composer. And you hear that. You hear the formal elegance in his music, just as you do with Haydn. But Haydn's, of course, is full of everything from like tragedy to hilarity. And the Roussel is too. The Roussel has great intensity, brooding drama, but also lightness and wit and verve. And I think they make a perfect pairing. I really do. So I think you have two very different halves of this program. Both of them really make wonderful pairings, the two works on each half. But, like I said, you've got some real red meat in all four works. Even the Haydn with its Sturm und Drang opening, based on Gluck's Dance of the Furies. So every single piece has a certain dynamism about it, but every composer does it in his own way. And I think it's just going to be a tremendous amount of fun in concert, where we'll never see it, but at home, where we can do it whenever we want. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.